god! Dude, is that not the biggest school bus you've ever seen? Like, bro, I didn't even know they made them that big.
That's
like,
a normal school bus.
What do you mean? Dude, that's a monster bus, bro.
How big was your school bus?
Like, 6 seats, maybe?
6 seats?
Yeah, why?
Bro, you're on the short bus.
No, that's the normal one.
You know, guys, I'm not gonna waste any time in today's video. We gotta talk about SBMM, unfortunately, alright? Look, the Scatmaster, he doesn't really like talking about SBMM, alright? There's plenty of other content creators out there that spam SBMM videos, and look, no disrespect to them, but SBMM specifically, it's one of those pseudo topics that I just don't like talking about because it's always the same exact gooch lickers in the comment section. Oh, you're just hating for views. Oh, you have a skill issue. A skill issue, Fooly. You have a skill issue. Shut the hell up. Bow down to the Scatmaster, fatty. You guys know how it goes here. It's not a skill issue. It's a scat issue. Now look, Activision just came out with... honestly, guys, it's a pitiful report on skill-based matchmaking and how skill is implemented into the matchmaking process that they use nowadays in COD. The very first thing that they talk about though, and keep in mind this video is kind of gonna be all over the place because I refuse to actually read their report. Look, over here on the channel, the Scatmaster doesn't really affiliate with pedos or other people that just exploit children for money. Bunch of scumbags over at Activision, so just right off the rip, Activision, you're just a fat heaping pile of garbage. But let's get right into this. Activision confirms that there is no plans to remove skill factor from matchmaking in Call of Duty. They believe, alright, keyword believe, that skill factor allows players from all skill ranges to continue to play, but they also state that ping is the #1 factor in matchmaking still, regardless. You know what, guys? I'm Harriet Tubman, alright? At this point, my neighbor is Osama bin Laden. My other neighbor, Santa Claus. Who do these people think we are? Do they think we're just their average fan that's playing MW 2019? I mean, just brainless, mind-numbingly dumb idiots? Is that what they think this is? Like, they genuinely believe that we'll actually accept that. And don't get me wrong, there is gonna be some dumb moron in the comment section that genuinely believes that, but if you can see through the lines, you can tell very, very easily that is not the case. And guys, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse from here, alright? Activision has stated that they have explored adding in a playlist with no skill factor in matchmaking in Call of Duty multiplayer, but they are still considering whether to release it because they believe, keyword again, believe, it will just be high-skilled players joining into it, as low and mid-skilled players will not join. Why they genuinely think this is beyond me, but they go even further on this. Activision revealed the results of the MW 2019 Part 3 multiplayer test where skill factor was reduced for 50% of players in North America. This chart shows player retention percentage based on skill rating. Lower to mid-skill players saw retention decline. Only the highest skill bucket had an increase. And you want to know the entire ironic part about this, guys? The people that are leaving, the people that Activision is claiming are contributing to a lower player retention are their own fans, their own gooch lickers, the supposed bottom 90% of players. So to everybody out there that's barking skill issue, you guys are blind. You don't even realize that you people are the ones contributing to why SBMM is so flawed and so rigged.
Cut man!
And we'll get into it in a second, but, you know, of course, skill-based matchmaking has existed for a long time, but not in the way that it currently does, alright? I guess when you allow the Call of Duty gooch lickers to come against people of actual skill, the Call of Duty gooch lickers just so happen to leave. But this is the thing, there's a lot of context missing from this test that they did. The first thing that I'd like to bring up is timing. When exactly did this happen? Not because I didn't notice, but because I haven't played this game for about 3 months up until like yesterday, guys. You're still watching old gameplay, but I'm just being honest, I tried out COD on PC for free, and it honestly kind of felt the same. I mean, it's a better experience, but honestly, it's still the same boring game. And that, guys, that is my exact point with this entire thing. You're noticing people leave the game and less player retention because the game sucks. Alright, it's boring. You have implemented skill-based matchmaking so disgustingly for the last 4 to 5 years that even the low to mid-range players don't know how to react when there's somebody of actual skill in the lobby.
Hear me and hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
You have trained these people, you have conditioned these gooch-licking morons, these thumbless, brain-dead Twitter warriors into thinking that when there's somebody of skill in the lobby, the only method of getting out of this environment is to just leave, like cowards. No, you want to know what happened back in the day, guys? Back in the day, we would actually have to sit through these lobbies. And yes, of course, it's by choice, but the reason we stood in these lobbies was because we wanted to improve. Back in the golden era CODs, you would get absolutely piss slammed. And if you kept playing, you would notice yourself get better. But because Activision, for whatever ungodly reason, has added these training wheels to everybody, given everybody these crutches, these handicaps for the last 4 to 5 years, these low to mid-skilled players have been low to mid-skilled players for the last 5 years. Since MW 2019, you guys will never, ever, ever hear me praise the MW 2019 multiplayer experience, and that is culprit number 1. Aside from god-awful maps and just Joe Seacot's fat forehead, that game implemented some of the worst skill-based matchmaking methods into their multiplayer. And if you've needed skill-based matchmaking to pull you through lobbies for 5 years straight, you are the problem, alright? I've seen so many content creators talking about, oh, well, it's actually the people that are good, these esport people that think they run everything, they think they're so cool. Shut the hell up, man. If you've needed your handheld for the last 4 or 5 years, you literally just suck, alright? I'm sorry, and not just in video games, but in life. Have you never gone through adversity? And I'm not trying to compare real life to video games, but let's be straight up, guys. How many people do you know went multiple years using training wheels on a bike? Not many, right? Why? Because eventually they just learned how to ride the bike. They don't need it anymore. But if you constantly give these people training wheels for 4 years straight, on the 5th year, when you let them explore into the wilderness with other people and they get slammed, they're not used to adversity. They leave the game because they suck. That is why you lost player retention in that bracket. And to the people from the mid to high ranges, you probably didn't see an increase in player retention. You want to know why? It's for the exact same reason. For the last 4 to 5 years, we've experienced this nonsense with zero reward behind it, zero rhyme or reason. Why on God's good green earth would we just randomly stay now all of a sudden because we smoked some people? Do these developers simply just not have a brain? This is literally simple statistics. This is simple research methodology. You can't have a system in place for 4 years and then barely test it on the 5th year and then wonder why the results are not what you think they should be.
Now listen! That's called motherfucking bars, nigga! You know nothing about that!
This entire test that they ran, it is flawed. It doesn't prove what they think it proves because they're running it so past the due date. And yes, that matters. If you can't see how that matters, you are a mindless gooch-licking moron. And if you want to make the stupid argument, oh well, skill-based matchmaking has existed since COD 4. Nope. Check this out. Skill-based matchmaking has been in Call of Duty since 2007's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the actual good one, and the system was updated with more capabilities starting when? Starting when, guys? Read it for yourselves. When Activision switched gears into prostitution, where they started sucking off all of these noobs in the name of getting some money out of it, some revenue out of it with their monetization and their microtransactions, and all of these horrible, disgusting bundles, battle passes, and black sell, that is when you noticed a shift in skill-based matchmaking. Yes, team balancing was a thing this entire time, nobody doubts that. But unless your first COD was MW 2019, which if it is, I'm so sorry, then you know for a fact that something drastically changed in MW 2019. This is the time that people genuinely just need to not be ignorant And look, that's crazy coming from me because I purposely choose to be ignorant all over the internet because I think it's funny. But it gets to a point where you've divided so many people in your own community over this single topic, and that division has only gotten bigger since MW 2019. And since you did not disclose the way that skill-based matchmaking was updated and works differently in MW 2019 up until now, you have this division where you're genuinely trying to cater to morons right now with this god-awful report, because people with an IQ that is higher than my cat's shit in a litter box the shape of a cock simply don't buy this anymore. They don't buy into this whole, oh, well, skill-based matchmaking is actually good for the community. No, it is not. Not in this way. Team balancing, sure, that is okay. But this disgusting rigged matchmaking, all of this engagement optimized matchmaking, it's flawed. And your way of trying to prove it using your methods that are flawed, it doesn't fly with this portion of the community. I mean, look at this, guys. The test showed that players with a wider skill gap were more likely to quit matches in progress and did not return to the game at a higher rate than players with unchanged matchmaking. Once again, this is simply a product of you holding their hands for 4 years straight. Once again, I'm gonna have to be the one to say it. If you need skill-based matchmaking after 4 years, going through the 5th year and going towards the 6th year, you suck. And I'm not lying to you guys when I tell you it just gets worse and worse. And the paper states that although higher skill player retention may have increased during this test, the lower and mid skill players drop off over time, the higher skill player base takes over matchmaking. The company claims that we would expect to see the player population erode rapidly in the span of a few months, resulting in a negative outcome for all our players. Once again, this is a product of you having it for this long. Let me just entertain a thought to you guys. They're claiming that the higher skill players would probably have a higher retention rate. Is that not what they're claiming? That's what they're claiming, right? It's the pissers that leave, right? It's the shitters and the pissers that leave the games. Well, think about this. If you had a system in place that actually made these lower and mid-skill players into higher skill players, would they then not be in the bracket that has a longer retention? If you had matchmaking that wasn't completely flawed and rigged, and you promoted your players to get better at the game, would they then not be in that bracket that you are saying actually had an increase? See, this is why I like talking on YouTube, guys, because there's certain things that I know for a fact a lot of people don't realize, but it's even funnier to me when the developers who are coming up with this data, who are coming up with all of these methods to prove themselves right of having disgusting, horrible, exploited matchmaking in their games, once again, for the sake of money, it's funny to me because I wonder what they would say if they were actually face to face with somebody that would say this to them. They would never come face to face with somebody that's actually going to challenge their knowledge, because there's certain things you simply can't refute that I'm talking about, that a lot of these other channels are talking about when it comes to skill-based matchmaking. One more time, if you have anything in the comments that is remotely similar to skill issue, Activision is literally, quite literally saying, if you are leaving the game, you suck. There is a correlation between the people that leave the game and people that suck. And inadvertently, they're also making this correlation that people that are actually good would actually play more. That doesn't sound like a skill issue to the top 10%. And if you want my stats, Scadmaster's top 3%, alright? And I know we're towards the end of the video, but I guarantee there's gonna be some gooch-licking brain-dead moron in the comments talking about skill issue, alright? It's not a thing. It is non-existent for the Scadmaster. For you people that have needed your hands held for the last 4 or 5 years, this one is for you guys. Activision is desperately trying to protect you because they know you're gonna spend money in the shop. So make like a good boy and get off of the Scadmaster's page, go over to Activision and start blowing them, alright? Give them the Tiana Trump specialty, the way that they do to you because they know you're gonna spend money in the shop. Make like a good boy and get off of the Scadmaster's page. I don't want you anywhere near my gooch, alright? Stay away from me. You are not like me. No, you are not. Go back to Activision, go back to Call of Duty developers, go back to all of these gooch-licking content creators, Charlie Gooch-licking Intel, Doug Dimmadome Warzone, and all these other freaks of natures on the internet. Go to them and gooch lick them. Tell them about your horrible experience, about how you played against people that don't suck. Do not do that over here. Don't bring it over here. The Scatmaster doesn't want to hear it, alright? Skill-based matchmaking is a disgusting plague, and a lot of people are unfortunately sick, alright? If you like skill-based matchmaking, no human rights for you. None at all. Zero.
Bro, you're on the short bus. Bro, you're on the short bus. Bro, you're on the short bus.
But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think Activision's being truthful about skill-based matchmaking in COD? And do you think their method of trying to prove that it's useful is actually correct? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.